I am not the only one drawn to this place. With each passing day, more converge upon Earth. Pilgrims of fate. Some already arrived. Others still walking paths they do not yet understand. This gathering intrigues me. They exist in the space between heaven and hell. Their choices now will carve the shape of their eternity. But do they truly know what they are? What forces stir beneath their feet while they play their part on the board? Pawns, perhaps. Or something far more significant. Death lingers near. Yet the dead do not rest. Their whispers grow louder. Their stories claw to the surface. Deeds once buried in shadow now strain for the light. These saints, these sinners, they are unlike any I've seen. Complex, flawed, powerful. Some barely cling to their soul. Others shine so brightly, I dare not look away. They have been chosen for what lies ahead, and nothing in this world or the next will ever be the same. I must watch them, for within this fractured group lies the thread to a mystery far greater than they can fathom. And soon, it will unravel.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Hope you're doing well. As you can see, we have a full panel today because it's the closeout for Saints and Sinners, our first anthology, which closes at 11 p.m. Central Time tonight. So be sure to get those pre-orders in. We want to say, well, thank you all, because this has been a wonderful collection closing in, or as we close in on 12,000 total books sold. This bad boy has a chance to be the most successful book of the year as far as books sold. So that is incredible. So thank you all for the support. We got a big day ahead of us today, but I'm going to go around the panel, introduce everybody that's part of the project. First, the Saskas, both Jen and Sylvia are here. They are the ones who help conceptualize this idea of Saints and Sinners and doing this anthology and pulling some of these guys in. Ladies, how you doing?
We are good.
Oh,
rad.
Go ahead, everyone.
We're just talking at the same time. Go ahead, Jen.
I am good. Thank you. I'm
good.
very excited to be here. I'm very much on Monster to be awake, because we did some signings last night.
Yes. You had a big week this past week, so you guys have been ripping and running. So appreciate y'all. It means Yaira 3 is on the way.
Yeah, I did a little shopping in the warehouse.
There you go.
Little shopping.
There you go. There you go.
Very excited for people to get Yaira 3, but insanely excited for Saints and Sinners. This is a very special book.
Yeah, thank you so much for greenlighting it, boss. Thank you for creating the universe with all the fun toys for everybody to play with. Jen and I, as soon as we saw Larry Shungite, we wanted to write a story, and we got an opportunity here.
Well, appreciate you. By the way, again, this is a great idea, and it's awesome to be able to pull in some of our friends that are all part of this project. So next up, of course, we have my good buddy Jay, also known as Drunk 3PO, Camera Cross creator. How you feeling today, man? I know you just got out of a stream, but how you feeling?
It's all good, man. I love it. Thanks for letting me be a part of this, number one. And not to brag a little bit, but if you do go to the Rippaverse Comics Twitter account or X account, their banner features Cameron Cross. So look at that. That's pretty
whatever.
look at that.
What's the biggest selling cover, Jay?
I don't know. I tried to get those numbers, but they wouldn't tell me. They wouldn't tell me. Is it cover A?
Yeah.
It's A for right now.
Is that got Cameron Cross on it?
Nobody's inside. All right,
well,
so let's get those cover D.
We got a lot of time. We have a lot of time. So go grab those covers again, Jay. Appreciate you being a part of this project, man.
This is awesome. It's been such a great journey. And I was just in Toronto weekend at a Transformers convention that I was invited to come out to. And we had a small meetup, and just hearing everybody even there saying, "Oh, I ordered our copy. Can't wait to read the stories from the different people that I've been following on YouTube for such a long time." So they were trying to dig it out of me, and I said, "Tell you the truth, they haven't told me anything about the other stories because they know better. Because I would spill it because So as it was a good thing that I didn't know anything to the last minute, and I still don't know what the stories are about. So it's a good thing. So I'm just as excited as the next person to read them. And then do the spoiler stream. I think that'll be great.
Oh yeah, that'll be fun. Spoiler stream will be we're gonna have a blast with that. And you were out there, you got to see Chad as well.
Yeah, Chad from Rippaverse. He was in the area, so we had dinner, and he just hit 40,000.
Yeah, he just hit 40K.
Yeah, on his project over on Rippaverse. And we had a great meeting, and some of the things that he has lined up in the future for his project is awesome. So, and it was cool because I texted Eric. I was like, "Hey, I'm going to call you real quick. Please answer the phone. I promise I'll be 30 seconds during the meetup." So I called him. He's like, "Hey, what's up, everybody?" Everybody's like, "Hey, it's Eric." And then I was like, "I'm going to hang up." So we went from there. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
That's what's up. I love hearing that.
Everybody's just having fun, man. That's the main thing.
That's what it's
everybody's
about.
having a great time, and that's what it's all about.
That's exactly what it's all about. So big shout out to all of y'all that were out there hanging out with Jay. Of course, give a big shout out to Death Trial creator Chad Larson as well. Awesome dude. Moving on, though, we have, of course, Bone God creator Mauler. What's up?
Howdy. How you doing? This is fun to be back, having a little chat, but simultaneously realizing we can't say anything. It's just fun pushes and pulls, but hey, excited now because the hours are running low. It's the exciting moment before we begin the journey of potentially getting this stuff to the wonderful public out there.
Yep. And I'm very excited for that. As you guys know, we have some last minute stuff that we adjusted. Things get printed, so it shouldn't take that long. We have no CGCs, right? So once we get them, they're going out. So go ahead and grab those pre-orders. Again, we do base our sales, how many of the books that we get based upon those pre-order sales. So it is a chance that after this pre-order is over with, some of the covers may or may not sell out. So be sure to get yours while you can. You're gonna want to do that. So also joined by my co-host over at Ruben Silverback, as Hill versus Babyface, Chasing Ghost creator, man. What's going on?
Good. It's crazy because I remember the email from Silv saying, "Hey, you wanna draw? Write a draw." No, I didn't draw anything. Gonna write a little book, please. Draw a little story for the Rippaverse. So okay, and then all the process that we went through, then the launch. And it's like, holy cow, now we're 12 hours away from the campaign actually ending, books being printed, shipped out, and it's insane. This whole campaign has been insane. I didn't know what to expect, really. I thought, maybe people would be like, it's just a bunch of YouTubers. Well, maybe we'll scrape over 100K or whatever, and you're looking down the barrel of nearly 500,000, and
wow.
Oh, nearly looking down the barrel of 12,000 copies sold, and you're just like, holy. So, massive thank you to everyone out there. So yeah, this is exciting times.
We don't end up getting shot in your analogy, do we?
Only two of you.
Damn, unfortunate drinker, Jay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my name.
You're being optimistic, aren't you, Muller?
I'm pretty sure my name was on that list.
Well, just take Jay as given, and then
Muller and I could fight it out.
Yeah.
I got the American first. I get it.
Oh man. Again, big shout out. This is crazy. By the way, shout out to Dan, Glorious Death. Who helped me collaborated with him on that project. Just gifted 20. So welcome to all of y'all that are in the chat that became members. And of course, we also have joining us on this, I know, taking time out of his busy day. Our man's Critical Drinker, man. What's going on, dog?
Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here. It's what can I say about this campaign that everyone else hasn't said already, man? It's it feels like just yesterday we were doing our launch stream for this, and now here we are, right at the end of the process. As Az was saying, you start something like this, you've got no idea how successful it might be, whether there'll be the kind of interest that you hope there might be. And yeah, it's exceeded anything I expected. So it's just really it's really awesome to see the support that people have shown for this and the faith that they've shown for us. So thank you to everyone who pre-ordered these books. It's awesome.
Yeah, man. Again, appreciate, by the way, everybody here that has been part of this project. This has been a wonderful experience to be able to obviously work with these people professionally that I've known for a bit, but also in that, we're getting different perspectives, as obviously we talked about before with Jay, as well as the Critical Drinker have done some work. But with Mauler and Az, this is the first bit of comic book work, original work. Wanted to make sure that we did right by them, so we appreciate them bearing with us as far as the entirety of the process. Everybody here got to learn about a little bit about kind of how it works. But I do believe, as far as the general outcome of the book, I believe everybody's going to love it. The people that actually bought it love it. They're going to love the stories. And you guys were able to, definitely with you, Mauler and Az, do a story that I believe that people are going to fall in love with and enjoy, despite it being your first book. It's not written like, it's just the first time giving it a shot. So congratulations to you all. Congratulations to everybody here that's part of the project, from the Soskas, Jay, Mauler, Az, and the Critical Drinker. Because again, this has a chance, and we'll see what happens by the end of the day. I know we're all going to be on the promo tour. Because it closes in the next 12 hours basically from now, a little under 12 hours, and this has a chance to be our top selling book of the year so far, with half of the year basically being gone. So that's awesome. By the way, this passed up, was it yesterday that it passed up ISOM? Az?
Yes, yesterday it flew past ISOM.
Right on by.
Middle fingered on the way past.
Right on by.
Middle fingered all the way.
Sneaky.
We didn't know what ISOM's powers were, so we didn't know if he could catch up. I love it. Read ISOM 3 for that one.
Yeah, you will have to. You'd have to do that. Get it with your Saints and Sinners. Why don't you? But yes, yesterday it flew past ISOM 3, so now it's Horseman that it's looking down, and it has a chance, guys, as we close in again on 12,000. It's highly likely that with your pre-orders that we hit 12,000 by the end of the stream, and we'll see what happens. And also, we're less than 40,000 away from 500,000, so it does also have a chance to hit that $500,000 mark.
But if the chat want to play along, Horseman did 12,515.
Yep.
So the target to beat for Saints and Sinners, if it's possible, chat, is 12,515.
We can take them.
Yeah.
I think it happened. I
believe in you.
I believe in you, chat.
In you. that one there, you. I believe in you.
Yes. So we are. Both of those are possible. $500,000 in sale, as well as the book sold total hitting that 12,000. I mean, hell, who knows? 13,000. Keep it going. 15. I don't care how high it goes. Just pump the numbers up. Why don't you? But seriously, appreciate y'all. It's a great way to get in on the Rippaverse with this anthology. You're going to be learning a lot about different perspectives from everybody that's part of this connected universe. It uses some new characters. You have some newly created characters like with Cameron the Cross and some of the characters of Bone God, as well as pretty much all of our stories have new characters in them, but you also see some familiar ones. As if you've been looking at some of the covers, for example, in which you see Ingrid Valdez, and you're going to learn about the Apex. You also have, of course, with Critical Drinkers cover, which, by the way, a lot of people don't know this. The son of Kanan White did that cover, Desmond White. So, big shout out to him. But you also see Sally Rodale as well as Altona on that cover. So you're seeing some familiar faces in addition to some brand new characters that are really part of all of our stories. So I'm really excited for you to read. It's a perfect time to get in. Be sure you might as well, because it's only $8. Might as well go grab that Rippazine as well. That has Catch and Kill in it. That's done by the Saskas, but it has interviews from everybody as well as part of the Saints and Sinners project, and you get some insight from there. So go grab that. We appreciate you. Just to show you all real quick before I see some big hot dollars.
Raider.
Yeah, I see him, right?
Friend Raider.
I'm gonna get to that because that's a high level donation by the way. But yes, as you can see, we got plenty of items. We got the concept art book. Some of y'all need to go back for that, as well as the hardcover that depicts some of the characters that are in Saska story and mine as well. But you got that next deck of card. By the way, I did pull the trigger on. This is related and unrelated. I did pull the trigger on getting a sample as far as manufacturing for the binder. Which I know a lot of people have been asking about that card binder. So yes, we have the art. Everything's done with it. As far as the binder cover art and everything that's on it, but I want to make sure I get the physical copy, make sure it checks out before we, move forward with it. So perfect opportunity to go get those cards. Of course, we have some shirts. The shirt, we got the poster as well. Just all sorts of stuff that you can get. You can also get caught up on some of the other decks, though, like deck 3, I believe, is already sold out. So, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, deck 3, I don't think you can get that anymore. But some of the old decks of the Duckman cards you can grab right now. So, thank you all so much for the support. Go grab Saints and Sinners right now while you can. Thank you all. Thank you all. Okay, let's start from the beginning again, just in case people they weren't here for the first stream, ladies. Let's talk about what you were thinking and coming up with this kind of idea for Saints and Sinners. Before we started pitching this to some of the writers here.
Well, we have amazing meetups, and fans, thank you for coming to conventions and coming to hang out with us at meetups. I know you come for the comic books, but you stay for the hugs. And a lot of the friends on this panel either have been at a meetup or as we really want to see at a convention or a meetup, cough, cough, hint, hint. And we thought, wouldn't it be amazing? Because everyone's got their own stuff. Everyone's a very creative artist and everyone's signing. And wouldn't it be freaking wicked? I censored myself for you, Jay. That we would be able to have everyone signing something. And also Critical, already accomplished writer. Jay, already accomplished writer, kicking butt with Achromatic Chronicles, and can't wait for the next installment. And Thank you. Mahler and Az, very, very creative people, and very much like the boss in the way that you see what you don't like and you tell it like it is. And I had a feeling that you guys could do better than what we see out there from the big two right now. And damn, were we right. So go ahead. I've already said the best parts, but say something.
Well, the first time we ever met Eric in real life, and if you've read ISOM 3, you already know the power dynamic of characters within the Rippaverse. If not, I'm not going to spoil it. I respect Andrew too much for that. But there is...
Andrew is in the chat. Be careful. I saw him lurking.
Is he lurking? Well, see, I'm careful. So there is a certain type of lore, and I thought, wow, perhaps if we examined a book between Saints and Sinners, we would be able to expand the lore even more so. And people love short stories. It's kind of like a box of chocolates. You get like one little taster of each, and then after you're done, you're like, oh, I think I'm just going to buy a whole salted caramel box to myself. And that's kind of what we wanted to do, is like you get a little taster of all these different artists, and then you're like, ooh, I really want to see that story expand. I want to see this character more so. And it gives you guys that opportunity to get excited. Instead of just waiting for a 90-page book where like ISOM's putting everybody over, you get a little sampler of everybody around the world.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I love the most about the Rippaverse. When it was just getting started, the boss was talking about how, you know, if you don't like what we got, don't worry. We got lots of other books coming. And that's one of the most amazing things about Saints and Sinners. If you don't find a story in there that you love, I feel for you, man. You got no joy in your life. This really is a little bit of everything. And I can't wait to see what fans like what stories. I mean, we got wrestling, we got horror, we got drama, we've got pain, we've got intrigue. Oh, it's so much fun. I'm really excited to see their reactions.
Yeah, you're going to be shocked by some of these people's stories, Jay and Mahler especially, just for fun.
Talk about sinners. You got your little sinner in your hand. Dad, I know you're worried that we're in separate rooms, but like I said, until The Cursed sells more copies than Sylvia's Black Club, I will not be seen in the same room as her. Or him. Your little dog.
Well, like I said, it was a great idea, and again, to be able to have all of the wonderful people here to be a part of this first anthology is really it's huge for us, and it means a lot just kind of because it brings things into perspective. As long as we have been streaming and on, you know, together and everything, it really brought everything into perspective that we're able to together kind of to produce some original works. Just real quick, I want to go to like both Marla. I guess we'll start with Marla, and then we'll go to Az real quick because, you know, Marla, again, your first project that you've done as far as the original with comics and stuff. So, you know, you learned a lot about the experience, making sure we get everything right, seeing your vision through. But what was that like? And I think that's a perspective that a lot of people could get something from. I'm sure we have some inspiring writers and creators that are in the chat right now as well. If you want to kind of go through kind of the learning experience and how you kind of felt coming out the other side of Poem God and Saints and Sinners in general.
It's all that sort of effort in making it leaner was the main thing I would have taken away. It's like when you start, you just splatter a whole bunch of like, it would be cool to have this, cool to have this. What if it was this and this went this way, this went this way? And then, you know, as you go along, as anyone might have expected, you start to having to shave some things off to slot things into place. And then, you know, where characters have a back and forth for about an hour, you have to drop it down to as much as a minute. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get used to it eventually. And yeah, you know, it's a really, storytelling is just a fun process because we're all filled with our own influences, and I think you'll never know. In some ways, you'd think like, because people have sometimes a bit of a cynical view of like all stories have been told, but yet people can surprise you in terms of like, oh shit, I never thought of putting that with that, and it's like, oh yeah, they're just two of my favorite things. You're like, oh, that makes sense then, yeah, cool. And you know, you never know what you'll come out with, and hopefully what you can surprise people with. So you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what people may or may not have to say. We'll have to see. But it's, yeah, overall just a fun process in a sense of, you know, you try to cram a bunch of things together, explode them out, carve them around, and suddenly it becomes your own thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Like I said, I remember when I, again, first started kind of doing things as well. It's like, you know, you learn a lot about it. I mean, it's really when you put pen to pad or however your approach is with writing, and you have to actually go through it before you kind of work out like, okay, honing your skill or beating on your craft and really trying to refine coming up with a cohesive story. So, you know, you kind of just got to do it. I guess it's like that with pretty much everything. You can talk to you blue in the face and have all these ideas, but once you actually start to do it, is when you really get to learn. You can have all this other information, you can ask people for advice, all that good stuff, but you have to kind of experience it. And that's been what's awesome to see from you, especially with your original pitch, Mahler, in that you know, it was already something was there. And, you know, all we were doing was, okay, let's package this, see if we can get it within the, you know, the allotted pages that we have. but the story was already there, right? And it was a great concept and great idea. Give a big shout out to Will Conrad, who's one of our top artists here at the Rippaverse, and was glad to have him on this project because the artwork came out absolutely insane. So big shout out to Will as well as Mahler for such good work they did on Bone God. I can't wait for you guys to read that. As similar thing with you, where again, first story had a lot to kind of learn, and you had a tall order there in using a fan favorite character in there as really that's central to your story. So I mean, I know we've talked about this before on the first stream, but we could talk about it a little more, maybe a little more in detail with the choice to use Ingrid, number one.
Yeah.
And then again, taking that challenge with your first material is like, I'm going to take a fan favorite and I'm going to have her be integral to the story. That's not an easy thing to do, but you did pull it off. So just talk about your experience there.
I mean, it's so crazy, so bizarre, it's so surreal because obviously I've been reading comics for 32 years. I started collecting comics back in 1992. It's when I picked up my first one. And it was within a few years, you start to develop who your favorite artists are, who your favorite writers are. And I was spoiled for choice at that time in terms of writing. And I always heralded my dream team as a Kelly Jones cover with Chuck Dixon, Graham Nolan interiors. That was sort of like my dream team when it came to a comic. So when that happened, it was just like, oh, this is crazy good. And of course, Chuck just became my favorite writer. He could do anything. Yep. You could give Chuck any character, whether it be Bruce Wayne or whether it be Helena Bertinelli or whoever it might be. And every character had such a distinct voice with him. He could do action. He could do emotion. He could do world building. He could do everything. And he could do it so condensed. Right. And it wasn't messy. And it was just primo. So you kind of fast forward as a fan of that. And then you get the email from the Soskas, hey, do you want to write a short story for us? And before, first and foremost, I'm a Rippaverse fan. I've made that perfectly clear, and it's purely because I really believe in Eric's vision for the company. People said you can't create new characters. People don't gravitate towards characters. Nobody's gonna follow a black character or this character anymore, and you got all this from the mainstream. Right. And then suddenly Eric just comes along with his own money and then just goes, hey, but and so he didn't just create look, I've created a black character that people like. No, he created a huge bunch of characters that legitimately stood on their own merit. They immediately became like, oh no, I'm interested in these, I'm interested in this group. And I said from the get-go, from even reading Ice and One, which of course nobody did. My eye was immediately drawn to Alpha Core. They made just a cameo, a brief cameo in Ice and One, but I was just like, look at these guys. I like this kind of, government accept sort of business. They had to follow the law. They were essentially police, but accept police. And so they had rules and guidelines to follow. And I like that in a sense that it always limits, what they can, what they can't do, because you can obviously get the internal monologues of what these characters are truly thinking or their frustrations or whatnot. And so just to sort of have the opportunity. And then there was this guy called Chuck Dixon who came on to write Alpha Core. And he just like, holy shit, what an absolute steal there to get Chuck Dixon at the Rippaverse. Perfect move, by the way, because Chuck he hasn't lost a beat.
Nah, man, he's killing it.
And Alpha Core was just a great, great book. And I'm reading Alpha Core, and we did the spoiler stream for Alpha Core and everything. And I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what you're doing. And I'm looking at Ingrid. I'm just like, I think there's a lot of potential of this character. She's very different from the other two members of Alpha Core. She's a grounded character. They're flight-based characters. She's got these wires, which kind of, the creative mind kind of like, what can you do with them? What can't you do with them? All that kind of stuff. And so when the email comes through from the Soskers, I'm just as big as fan as anyone else. And I wanted to see an Ingrid story.
Yeah.
So I immediately snapped their hand off and said, I'll take Ingrid and build around that. I thought it'd be interesting to take Ingrid, take away from the core, because obviously the Alpha Core don't go around as a trio all the time. We even saw that in Alpha Core. Braxwell was doing his thing, Brian was doing his thing, Ingrid was doing her thing. And so, these people get sent out for their own stories. So they've plenty of stories to be told for all of them. And I had some characters which I had created like 20, 30 years ago when I was at uni. And I thought there'd be quite a good fit to come in. And then there was new characters that came in. And maybe there's some other Rippaverse characters in there as well. Just, doing a little thing or two. And the story to me just organically kind of came together, and it flowed, and the Soskers gave us so much great advice on how to plan your book and how to actually get things to flow properly, and don't fall in love with an idea, that's because and what they were saying is, don't get tunnel visioned. If you get something, don't get tunnel visioned. Think about how it all fits. Make sure it makes sense. Make sure it fits the story. And so I got some wonderful advice from them, not just in structure, but in how to put things together. And because I was a little bit over on my page count, and I was thinking they'll be fine, And I was told, no, that's not how we're doing it here. You have 15 pages. We want 15 pages. So again, I had to look at the story. Where can I cut? And I actually ended up cutting something which to me made the story just flow even better.
Yeah.
And so it kind of, again, made a lot more sense. And yeah, every sort of resource from the Rippaverse was provided to us. And Diogenes Neves, who's my artist, I can't give him enough credit, because when you've put your words to the page and then you've structured it how you want it, and then I did the stick figure art boards of how I sort of envisage certain things to be, and it got handed over to Diogenes, and I was just in absolute shock when I started to get the artwork come through. The way that he had constructed the page to go along with what you wanted in terms of how many panels, but how he made those panels, the layouts that he did was so inventive. I was just absolutely blown away. And it's amazing how you, as the writer, even if you're starting off, you've got your vision down, and then you hand it to the artist, and the artist then can take your vision and add to it and say, this is how I see this, with their artistic lens as well. Right. And yeah, the layouts were just superb, and then the inks came in, and the coloring.
Wait, can we get an ass sketch if we hit 13,000?
Talk about
I am not drawing my ass.
Like the the little stick figures that he was just talking about. Can we get that?
I feel we have to.
We hit 13,000 books.
13,000. The stick figures.
the ass stick figures. The stick. I'll release, if we hit 13,000 books. When they've shipped, I will release the stick figure storyboards.
There it is.
There it is. You're here for just a little over 1,000 books.
Yeah. So
and once the books ship, you'll see the stick figures.
13,000. I will release the stick figure storyboards of chasing ghosts. So yeah,
is that going to be a Twitter exclusive, or like? Will it...
Oh no, that'll be a Rip and a Silverback exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe if you know, maybe we put it in a book.
Yeah.
Sell 50,000 copies of it.
Perhaps. So yes,
I
you're
think it should
here.
be a cover. It should be a cover special. That's it.
Yeah.
Saints and Sinners special cover.
The retarded cover.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody there, because 13,000. I mean, hey, it can happen. We are almost at 12,000. We're right there. So go grab, pre-order. Saints and Sinners, get the book, get the concept art as well. So you're going to learn a lot more about even the Apex. Speaking of as a story, you're going to learn a little bit more about that. Shout out to Marcos Rios, who helped kind of design everything there, as well as our concept artist here. So appreciate that. Same with you, critical drinker, though. I did want to kind of move there, because you come from, you're creative in your own respects. You're really good. Obviously, you have, Ryan Drake and everything that you're doing there. Different format. Not the first time we've seen the like you do some stuff in more or less the comic format, but it is kind of different. Can you talk about just creatively? Again, I know we have some aspiring creators in the chat, and I know we had obviously like Carol was part of that, helping out with some of that as well, making sure we got it packaged, as well as the sisters. But just talk about kind of that experience when you're coming up with this original story, and comparing it and contrasting to, okay, a novel is sort of format versus, well, now this needs to be packaged for 15 pages for a comic book.
Yeah, absolutely. So I kind of faced a similar problem to Mauler, for slightly different reasons. In his case, it's because he likes to tell stories that are like 1,000 pages long, and in mine, it's that I was just short. Yeah, I was being generous. And in my case, it's just because I'm very used to working in that different medium of writing novels, and it is different. You have essentially unlimited pages to play with, and if you want to make scenes as long as they need to be, if you want to go into crazy detail about characters and their backstories, you can do all of that. And there's really no restrictions on you, which is great from a creative standpoint. But the problem you hit upon when you have to do something like this, you've got to find that way to condense all of this down into a very short number of pages, but still tell a nice, complete story with a bit of nuance and a bit of a flow to it. And some character arcs that you can work in as well. And it just means becoming very, very efficient about how you do it, and beginning to see it in that much more visual medium of comics. And that's something I'd had a little bit of practice with previously when we did the Rambo comic, but this was different because we were working with new characters this time around, rather than like existing universe and so on. And I had to get a feel for the universe of ISOM and how all the characters within it worked, the ones I was going to be using, and how I could play with them, and the extent that I could play with them. Because my first thought when I came into someone else's sandbox was like, okay, who can I start killing? So we get to play around with that a little bit in the story. But yeah, man, it was a great experience of working, with the artists and really fleshing out, one, the looks of these various characters, and two, each of those panels, just getting it the way you envision it, the angles, just as the blocking, all of that stuff. And I do think they honestly did a fantastic job with it. I was so impressed at how close it was to what I had in my head, and that's just the mark of a really good artist that understands what he was doing there and understood the story that he was showing on the page.
And I mean, that art came out good. It was really cool. Obviously, we won't talk into the greatest detail, because we want you guys to read the story, but seeing some of the other previous characters that you all have seen in that setting was it's different, obviously, because with Kane and just what he's doing, right, and seeing them on the other side of it was really, really intriguing. Let's just say that. I don't want to go into too much detail without it spoiling it, but it was really cool to see. And I think the audience is going to get a big kick out of get a kick out of that story, and also demand more from this character, for sure. But yeah, the story just came out excellent, and I got to, because Kane is in the chat. Got to go give a big shout out to his son Desmond for such a wonderful cover that he did, which really, really embodied really what's going on with this whole deal. Real quick, well, Jay, obviously you were experienced not your first rodeo here. You've done comic book, a little different setting from the all ages stuff, and obviously you got Daughter's Revenge and everything happening there coming soon as well. But this is one of the first things that people are going to be able to see from you that's more a more mature kind of approach to storytelling. And
I heard
also,
mine is the most violent out of all the stories.
It's up there for sure. It's up there.
Crazy.
It is up there. But Cameron Cross, very intriguing character, and I love the character. I know everybody else is going to love the character, but yeah, you went into it with, okay, I'm going to create this new character. I think the Rippaverse needs this type of character. I'm creating this new character. I'm throwing them out there. And I'm telling this story that's in the already existing universe, but with this newer character, and it made all the sense in the world. If you could just kind of go into some detail with Cameron Cross, not obviously spoiling anything, but the idea of creating this new character, and we're really a shout out to Edu Salza, who did the cover for it, which says so much. It says so much in that cover, and once people read the story, that'll make even more sense. But yeah, just kind of go through, maybe even compare and contrast to some of the stuff you were doing in Achromatic Chronicle series versus this, which is a completely different approach.
I think Mahler said it best last time we streamed together. I was so glad to have a character that was not new or that was not in the world already. So if I screwed it up, if I didn't want to screw up someone's favorite character or anything like that, like I didn't want that pressure.
Right.
And it's like, hey, thanks for letting me mess up your character that everybody loves, pull a whole Ryan Johnson here in the Rippaverse, like he did in Star Wars. But it was pretty Az has that pressure over there. Right? The interesting thing was like coming up with the 15 pages, because I think when I pitched the character to you, I was in Dallas.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, let me step into your office real quick, So it's like, I have this idea. I don't know. And I was like, if you want to dump it in a Ripazine to see how people like it, maybe that might work. And before the full story. So I had to take the story that I already wrote, and I just took I kind of took a section from it to put the 15 pages together. So if people enjoy the character and love it, and with Eric July's blessing, and we want to continue with that story, we'll be pretty ready to go, I think. So the hardest part for me was like paneling, is like learning how to panel. I went on Amazon and bought like 8 books on how to panel. And then I'm watching like videos and all that stuff on YouTube, how to correct panel. And then I turn it in and they're like, man, that's terrible, man. Like, we got to do better. So it's like, I need help with the paneling. So that's been probably the fun process, putting all that stuff together. I remember just being really nervous when I found out I was going to be featured with all these great people. Drinker was actually in Orlando. He was trying to enjoy the Super Bowl. And I was like, hey, let me go bother him while he's drinking.
I was trying to understand the Super Bowl.
I was like, I'll take him away he's already been at the meetup, meeting tons of people, probably exhausted, but sure, why not? Let me go over there and bother him for another hour. And while we were watching this, well, we didn't watch much of it, but just being able to like pick his brain about like all kinds of like how he writes and prepares and all that stuff was pretty awesome. I don't know how much he had to drink by that time, but he was very coherent for me. So
clearly I didn't have enough then.
That's right. That's right. So, but we were like eating chicken wings and drinking. He had a lot to drink. I give him that. So I was trying to keep up. I had that one that I was nursing for a good hour. I was like, yeah, I'm still good over here, man. So we'll keep going. But it was
good to talk to you, man.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. So with all that being said, and the thing that I appreciate the most is whatever I turned in, the amount of feedback that came back was like, hey, do this, change this, fix this a little bit. It was very helpful, because I'm just an idiot on YouTube pretty much. And trying to put this thing together. And it's you guys were great, in the twins and everything. It was great. Always having that open line of communication to always do it like this. Can you change this? Like, we're looking for this, we're looking for that. And so that was very helpful. So I hope people enjoy the character. I've already like looked at a lot of people and what they theory about who this character is going to be, from like Wolverine type to Punisher type to wherever. And it's like, well, it's going to be interesting when they find out. What's going on with Cameron Cross. So
in fact, yeah, just going over there real quick. You could see some of the, obviously with the covers, you can see the Eddie Styles cover there, but yeah, the interior on all of the stories, see right there, some of the Cameron Cross stuff, as well as Bone Guy there as well. So just how this turned out to me was just we got different styles, right? You have some more stylistic approach. You have the more realist, like kind of hyper realistic approach with Wheel, which is what he's really known for doing, which is why I thought he was perfect for Bone God, right? And obviously we got Critical Drinker story there. That's mine. And then of course Chasing Ghosts, as well as Sasuke's, we're entering into the wrestling realm, which I guess we could talk about that just for real briefly. What was it like? Larry Shungite, you were all fans of him. What was it like to use him, ladies, for really as a vehicle for y'all story? Obviously, we see this guy right here looks very familiar. That he's been in a bunch of books as well. But yeah, just you got some new guys. We have also, as you see with Big Tuna here, guys that we've seen that's in a different setting, right, from what we had saw them in previous books. So you really did have a nice little spin, or rather adding more to a lot of these characters, but also telling a wrestling story. You're wrestling fans like I am, but you really took what we're doing with the SSWL. What was all that like, and in that approach?
Well, it was really fun because you and Chuck already set us up for the story. I remember reading Tuna's description and saying he looks like a former wrestler, and I was like, oh, former wrestler who's let himself go. That's interesting. That means he probably was a wrestler. What if we explored that? And then Lincoln has some kind of connection to the SSWL. What could that possibly look like? And Shungite obviously has some kind of reputation within the league. How did he get that? What exactly happened there? And Jen and I have been watching wrestling since the Kane introduction, and we've been blessed with being able to work there. And just love wrestling. It's like theater on steroids, but no one's on steroids. I'm not saying anyone's on steroids. It's just like hyper adrenaline storytelling.
I love wrestling, just like Sylvie. For a company that I will not mention, there was a time that Sylv and I wrote a epic year one Ronda Rousey story about how she kind of changed wrestling in the way that women started getting more than 2-minute matches. If you know much about wrestling, there was a time that if they started to go overtime, they'd be like, oh, we'll just cut the women's stuff. Nobody cares. And if you're watching right now with like Mommy and stuff, the women's wrestling is very competitive. I've always felt that the women put in a lot of time and effort. But unfortunately, said company lost the rights time, and the WWE lost the rights to Ronda's name. So that book got shelved. But I love writing wrestling because it's not just what's happening in the ring, it's what's happening behind the ring. And there's always a mastermind, a Vince McMahon type, who is pulling the storylines. But then again, there's also the wrestlers that have their hopes and aspirations. And there's wrestlers, much like Larry Shungite, who are champions on the inside. And they might not be the champions that the Vince McMahons choose, but they are the champions that the fans get behind. And it was really exciting to do a story of how did Larry get involved in the SSWL? Who is he? What type of wrestler is he? Because there's very many different types of wrestlers. You know, you got your gimmick wrestlers, and then you have your wrestlers who pretend wrestling is real wrestlers, which I also love because wrestling obviously is 100% real.
Yeah.
And you do see a lot of characters that you've seen in other books. That's one of the great things about the Rippaverse being here for 3 years. a lot of characters are set up, and now we get to play with them a little bit more. And I was so grateful, Eric, that you let us play with yet another character. I feel every time you create someone, I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to write Bloodruth as well. So thank you for that honor. It was so much fun to write a wrestling story. And again, it's very different from the tone of the other stories as well. But if you're a wrestling fan, man, are you going to get excited for this story?
Oh, yeah. It's good. It's really good. When they were introduced, it was alluded to had existing with the I guess the introduction of the SSWL and ISOM 1. We talked about Cedric. There's a lot of people that were asking about that type of story. And it wasn't to say that I had zero intention of that being entertained, but it was really to give depth to Cedric, right? But I'm also a big wrestling guy. So when I created that and then having the audience read ISOM number 1, and then they kept referencing that part, right? Where it's like, are you going to be telling some more stories about like the SWL, which, when I created some of the other characters, and obviously when we had an ISOM 2, you see with Lincoln and everything, I was like, or like Shungite and his introduction, partially the reason why I went that route was because of the audience and them saying, okay, they wanted this to be entertained. So it was great when you were all like, you wanted to tell a story around the SSWL, because it does seem to be something that at minimum the audience is at least interested in, which is awesome. I would love to, if we can make that make sense, the audience reads the story and there's some more stories that they want to be told about this league, then great. Let's do it. I'm game for it. I'm always going to be game for that. So I say let's do it. So can't wait for you to read it. I think you're gonna enjoy everything surrounding that. Just real quick as a brief update, by the way, less than 40 away from hitting 12,000 books sold. For
cover D, please get that cover D.
Yes, get all the covers.
You can't get to D unless you go through A.
But yes,
all right, just get all the covers. Like, let's just
why not grab all the covers?
But
yes, closing in on 12,000 total books sold. So thanks to all of you for grabbing that.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Everyone in the chat is wondering, how are we going to get Mahler to sign one? Is there going to be like a special PO box to the Nether Realm that we can send and he can back, or like?
We'll have to figure that out. It's whatever Mahler wants.
That didn't mean to put you on the spot.
My
whatever
dimension
he wants.
accepts post, of course.
There you go.
Savages.
We'll have to figure that one out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Which might as well. This is a good opportunity for me to go to some of these super chats because I know some of them are asked about that. By the way, Dan, big shout out to you for those 20 gifted, and Jeanette also gifted a sub. Love to see you here as always, and Jeanette. Laudalino with a 20 Brazilian says, I work as a screenwriter in Brazil with Joe Bennett. Oh, well, shout out. Says, and I would like to inform you that we all follow all of your work closely and with joy. Well, I appreciate that. Obviously, we got a lot of love for Brazil. A lot of our artists have come out of Brazil. Obviously, worked with Dan Vasc a lot with Glorious Death as well, and Joe Bennett being one of our core guys here. So big shout out to you. I appreciate it. Everybody out there. I know we got a pretty massive fan base out there. It's one of our big countries out there in Brazil. Naturally, again, because some of our artists come from there. But much love to you. Thank you so much for that Brazilian 20. And much love. Russ, speaking of another Brazilian, Russ Hart with a 5 says, only the most beautiful people in the world can read this message. Big hug to our Ripper family. Appreciate that. Love your fan art, brother. Thank you so much. And as we noted earlier, Raider 103.69. That's a lot of money, Raider. Always coming through, showing love, dropping the dough, and not saying too much of anything.
He's got some kind of coding with that number. He's been doing it for a year now. No one's been able to crack the code. So keep sending super chats till we figure out how to crack the code.
That's the key. Thank you. Seriously, man, that's not cheap. A lot of money.
He was born on the 10th of March, 1969.
Something like that, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Raider. Love to see your You're on all of our all of our channels all the time, showing a lot of love, Raider, man. So we appreciate you so much. Thank you. That's not cheap. Top donor of the day right there, coming from Raider. Dogman himself is here. Says dark blessings to all of you here. Are we still having poker night in the void next Tuesday? Mauler Morningstar will be there. I didn't invite him.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, maybe we'll make it a short session. Just make it too awkward,
Yeah. All right. So we have next up our Buster gifting 10. Wow. Give the sub. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Much love to you. The 10 gift. That's over 30 for the day. Mark says, if someone succeeded in getting a copy of Saints and Sinners signed by all of its writers, what prize would he or she get? I don't know. That's going to be a bingo for sure, or a little treasure hunt, if you will. If you grab that, you'd be successful, since we're all over the place here. But yeah, that would be quite the accomplishment, to say the least, and it would be probably one of a kind. So I say go for it if you could pull it off, grabbing Mauler and everybody else's signature.
I wonder if Marlo has an auto pen. Does he have an auto pen?
Auto pen.
He might not know that.
Auto pen?
Auto pen.
It's a thing in the States, that you don't actually have to sign it, but someone can sign on your behalf.
Like a stamp.
No, it's actually you would be like, Jay, I give you permission to be my auto pen so I could sign your name.
Somehow I feel like people wouldn't be as happy with that.
I don't think so. I think they'd be very upset if they found out.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Mark. Thank you so much. Got Garfield's Bizarre Adventure says, I would love to see Chuck Dixon on open bar and make it happen. Says Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. I'm sure that could. That's all Critical Drinker.
We can do that if he wants to come on.
Yeah. Shout out Chuck. Working on Alpha Core, by the way. Russell Art with a 5 says, Saoirse, she will be mine. Oh, yes, she will be mine. I know you love that character, and I've seen your fan art of it. It's lovely. So big shout out to you. Thank you. Magnum Norris with a 10 says, hell, to all the saints and sinners. We all deserve a glorious death. Says Magnum Norris. Agreed. Greedy Graffiti with a 5 says, I have an important literary question for the Saskas. What's your favorite Monster Energy flavor? I'm partial to Ultra Sunrise.
Ultra Sunrise.
Ooh, I like the OG for some reason. I think
the OG green one. Yeah, to me, it did it. I mean, back when I was fucking, young and I could just knock those back with no issues. That was I used to love those. I don't even drink Monster anymore. But man, the OG one is so good. All that fucking sugar in it, but it's so fucking good. It's so good.
Does the job.
I like whatever this is. I'm just learning it's Mango Loco.
I love how massive the fucking cans are
I
as
had
well.
no idea, but it tasted like fruity sugar, so it's good.
It's got the Yaira colors going on it though, so yeah, I like that. Yeah, the OG green one is really good, but like I said, I can't do that anymore. I can't drink it.
I'm a
really
Java
anything.
monster myself.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Not at all.
You know what a Java monster? Do you guys have those?
What it's the brown can, right? The coffee version. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Those are good.
I haven't drank it because I'm not a coffee guy, but yeah.
Big coffee guy over here.
Yeah. Millennium Milestone presents with a 20 says, shout out to this spectacular crew. Can't wait for my copy. You guys all rock. Well, thank you. Like I said, we're on it right now. We'll get these things printed through this month and get those sent out immediately. So thank you all. Cannot wait for you to read everybody's story here. So thank you, Millennium Milestone presents. We have Cheryl gifting a sub, shout out, as well as Psychotic Mongoose gifting a sub. And our man Johnny Reds here says, Rippaverse CGC short box, please have. I know you've been asking about that. Man, I keep forgetting about it. I like, it's fresh on my mind. Then something else happens, and then it's just gone. So I got to really look into it. We do have the
I'm seconding this big time.
Yeah, we have a prototype. We have like the actual physical. We don't have the hardware on it, but we have the physical box, and what it would fit and look like. So we have at least that going for us. We just need to get the art and get it printed. So that absolutely could happen. We'll see. All right, so I'm going to go round table. I do want to give everybody opportunity to kind of give. I want you to let the audience know. I'll go first, I guess. Let the audience kind of know what you believe they're going to get out of your story without spoiling it, if you can. So, again, I know we haven't talked much about it today. I don't like to because I'm trying to highlight everybody else in their story. I have a story called Weight of Restraint, centered around a new character created by the name of Jackson Canehart. Young legal guy, and I really wanted to tell a story from though we've had, like, you know, you have your detective stories and you have these heroes, which, and maybe even Alpha Core, that exist. And sure, you expect interactions with the government, so the local governments, that is, but we haven't really told a story from the strictly like kind of legal perspective of a guy who, in a city this complicated or complex, trying to do the right thing, though the odds, let's say, are stacked against him. So there's some big reveals, of course, in it. There's some notable characters that are in it, but it really is centered around a young Jackson Canehart, which I think people are going to be intrigued by. And as you all know, I'm a nerd for these types of stories. It's partially why some of the PI stories I've told, I know I kind of aged myself here in some of the stuff that I watched growing up, in the Matlocks and such of the world. And I really had the opportunity to kind of start to entertain stuff. I talk about Blonde Ice all the time, and so that's film noir stuff, which is kind of the story of salvage, and draws a lot of influence from that. But I just wanted to tell like a strictly legal kind of story. So I think Jackson Canehart is going to be one where again, it has some nice twists, nice turns in it as well. But you're going to learn a lot about Floyd Park's legal system in the story. And again, somebody that's trying to do good with the odds stacked against them. How does that look in a city with all these powerful beings going around? And obviously that makes things just a tad bit complicated legally. So can't wait for you to read Weight of Restraint, and that name will make a lot more sense once you read the actual story. Like I said, going around table, sisters, wrestling story. Go ahead. What you think people are going to get out of it after reading your stuff?
Me first or you first?
You first. You're in the right bucket. You're right there. Yeah.
Me first. I'll say all the good stuff, and you'll just, whatever is left. Spoiler alert: we are big wrestling fans. I don't know if we got any hockey fans, aka Canadians, in the chat. But if you've seen the movie Goon is kind of like a love letter to hockey. There's a lot of hockey events and like hockey, like, oh, that's actually a nod to this player. Oh, or that's a nod to this event. That is what The Underdog is like. It is an original story, and it's got original characters, and it's got some characters you've already come to love, but very much so, you're going to be like, oh, I bet that's a nod to so-and-so, or hey, that reminds me of the Montreal Screwjob, or things like that. If you're a wrestling fan, you're going to be very excited. There's going to be things that make you feel nostalgically about wrestling. I don't know how the temperature is about modern day wrestling, but I'm an attitude era kind of girl.
Yeah.
And I know we're a family company, so it's like,
it was me, Austin. It was me.
But that was the heyday of wrestling. Anyone that starts watching wrestling now, I'm like, nah, you got to watch Undertaker versus Mankind and Hell in a Cell. And then we can have a conversation. I mean, that was mwah. Even Mick, who humble brag is one of our friends, he was like, yeah, I was ready to die. I thought I wouldn't, but I was. And that's how hardcore the matches used to be. And there's a little bit of Rocky in there too. There's a lot of like fighting, and I feel it's very inspiring in the way that even when the cards are stacked against you, I mean, the title is Underdog, there are ways that you can come out a winner even when everyone is rooting for you to lose. And I'm very excited for you guys to read it. I mean, even if you aren't a wrestling fan, I think maybe you're going to be like, hey, should I check out this wrestling thing? And if you do check out that Mankind Undertaker match and you're like a family person and you're like, hey, should my kid watch this? maybe watch it first. Unless you're raising, like I always say, watch it first unless you're raising a Sasuke sister and you're like, to hell with it. Maybe there'll be hardcore horror directors. Check it out first. Again, one of them was willing to die. So just know that it was pretty hardcore. But those were the heydays. And as you can tell from how loud I just got, I love wrestling. I love it so much. And if y'all really like Underdog, I really want to wrangle some wrestlers into writing for the Rippaverse as well. So I'm very excited to see where the wrestling corner of the Rippaverse can go. Okay, Silvo, shut up. I'm good.
You said all the good stuff. I'm really proud of you, Jay.
I told you I was going to say all the good stuff, and you just smile and look pretty. Show us the puppy.
I think it's asleep.
What?
Live
on stream?
Oh, puppies, if you knew back in the wrestling days.
Oh, back in the wrestling, that's the connotation. Anyhow.
That's also not for the kids.
There was a huge portion of Jen and my life, and still is, where wrestling was the escapism. It was just so much fun to get lost in that world. In a way, they're like modern day superheroes, which is funny in the Rippaverse to have a world where there are superheroes and there's a wrestling league, which is really fun to play within. It's lore building. There are seeds planted for things that are going to happen later on. Maybe there's a little bit more to some of these characters than you already know. I'm trying so hard not to spoil anything. But it is something that is a place where a lot of people could potentially have fights. There is a lot of interesting things going on in the background. And I think a lot of big characters and big personalities pass through the SSWL, whether they're somebody who goes and becomes a tech genius, or somebody who becomes a crime lord, or someone who stays there and becomes a champion. And I think it's going to be an interesting juxtaposition to see who goes in front of the camera to present themselves in a certain way, and who goes in front of the camera to be authentically who they are. And if you like that crazy escapism, and if you like what us and Cliff Richards did, maybe you'll ask us to come back for a longer story. Maybe you'll ask us to hit up some of our friends like The Big Show or CM Punk to come in, or even Kane. I would die to see what Kane would write.
Shout out Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah, and write a little something for
the politician.
Yeah.
Some of the best stories I've ever heard in my life is when I'm having a meal with one of the wrestlers and they're like, "Oh, you guys are total fans." And we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay, I'm going to tell you this." And then you're like, "Oh man, I can't believe that happened." So it's nice to have that authenticity inside of it. And I just absolutely loved it.
There you go. Jay, Cameron Cost, what about you? What do you think the readers are going to take from that story after they read it?
I hope they don't get too aggravated, because there's going to be so much mystery left, because it's hard to cram everything in 15 pages. So there'll still be a lot of mystery as to who this character is and how he ended up in this area and what actually he's doing. But I just, for me personally, I really enjoy like religious undertone storytelling. For some reason, the search for forgiveness or redemption, things like that. I just really do. Like, almost spoiled the whole thing. So let me take a deep breath. So I really like that, and that has like, of course, Across the Bear. So it has like those undertones, things like that. So I really hope people enjoy the little insert that they get, the 15 pages, and want to see more of who he is, and we can flesh out more of his backstory and other stuff moving forward. So I also love that, the characters in the Rippaverse that he gets to interact with in this short story too is some of my favorite. So I like how it all just came together. So anyway, that's all I'm gonna say, because I feel like I almost like spilled it twice. I hope you guys enjoy it, but that's where we are. I'll be quiet. I just love those road to redemption stories. You know, it's just like where and where religion plays a huge part in certain people's journey in life. Not for everybody, but in certain people's journeys as to why they do certain things, why they make the decisions that they make, things like that. So that's what I tried to convey in 15 pages. So there you go.
All right, what about you, Mauler? You told a pretty unique story here in Bone God. It has this, well, it certainly does have its twist. What about you? What do you think the audience is going to gather from or leave the story with?
I'd say I'm hoping that they get a bit of a sense of adventure tipped on its head, like a lot of the conventions you would expect. Maybe you get a bit of an inversion on some of them, remix on some of them. It's supposed to be like a familiar approach, but then, you know, you want to throw in some surprises with, I'd say, like a cast of characters, again, because I got to very happily, but also, you know, it comes with its ups and downs, the creation of completely original set. You know, I don't have to worry about ruining anything, but simultaneously I have to hope that I can create something that people will be interested in. And so, you know, like I said, the kind of people that you have seen before approaching this kind of sort of scenario, but there's just little pieces that have been tweaked and twisted to create a bit more perhaps unforeseen conflicts or approaches to the situation that maybe you don't typically get in a lot of stories like it. And, you know, it can sort of move it in a place where maybe it doesn't mean exactly what you might have expected for a story like this. You know, I want conflict, bit of intrigue, bit of adventure, mystery, even a bit of action, but mostly a nice, healthy blanket of horror.
Healthy.
Yes. We all need a bit of horror in our lives, you know?
Well, like I said, I think it definitely in how it ends, I think it's going to be leaving the audience with like it's going to be a what the heck moment for sure. With Bone God, I'm really excited for people to get that story. What about you, Az? Moving on to you.
Well, we're dealing with an established character. With Ingrid first and foremost because she is a fan favorite. I want to do her proud for the, and I want hopefully the audience to be like, okay, yeah, we like this Ingrid on her own. We like these little solo stories and where could she go next? That's because that's what I've always sort of like looking at when it comes to all of the Rippaverse stories, all the ones I've read. I'm sort of like, where's this going? Who's this? You know, there's little hints that this could go this way or this direction. And I kind of really wanted to keep that flavor, that Rippaverse flavor going as regards to Ingrid because she's established, because she has been written by yourself. She has been written by Chuck. You know, we've also seen a little bit of Yaira in there as well, you know, so this is a character that's had you know, had some fingers on her already in the right way. Calm down, everyone there. So I want people to read this story and just come out thinking, yeah, that was a fun ride, and I want to see more of this kind of this Ingrid here because there's plenty planned for her, and this story is gonna set something pretty big up.
Yeah, I agree. Well, Critical Drinker, what about yourself? Look, I love this damn story, but what do you think just in general the audience is going to get from it?
Well, I think on two levels, hopefully there's going to be two different things they get from it. On the one level is the classic superhero dilemma of great power bringing with it great responsibility, and what happens to a person when they have misused the powers and gifts that they've been given? What does that do to their psyche? What kind of person does that turn them into? You're definitely going to explore some of that in the course of this story. But then the other layer to this is told from the point of view of the narrator. That's going to become very important to the story. And it really hinges on sometimes our lives can get radically altered by the smallest of things. A moment, something that you turn left when you could have turned right, a decision that you make that can change the course of not just your life but other people's as well. And it's going to hinge on that. And hopefully it might give people an interesting perspective on sometimes the little threads that bind us together. and our futures. So,
oh yeah, it's good. I think all the stories are good. Let me just say that. I think every single one of these stories are great, but most importantly, it's that they're different. I think that's more or less the idea kind of with an anthology. Look, everybody's human, right? So everybody has a different perspective. They have different styles, their unique approach to storytelling. Even whether you're a newbie, whether you're a veteran, it's the same. Like everybody has their approach to telling a story, and this is what I love about. I like that about anthologies in general, but especially with this one in the Rippaverse, it's that none of these stories. The theme is similar, right? As far as saints and sinners, obviously that was the point. That was the point. Like we're telling these saints and sinners-esque stories, but they're not the same. Obviously, they don't deal with the same characters. It's not just that we're swapping out, subjects either. They're all different. They're all different. You get this sort of more adventurous story with Mauler, for example. Miles again is handled more so in the courthouse and all of that. You have a wrestling story, like these different settings, completely. And like I said, individually, everybody tells a story differently. See, that's what makes it so fun, because like what you were saying, I believe it was Jen that was saying this earlier, that if you don't like one story, there's got to be something. There's enough variation in there for you to like something. You're going to get something out of one of them, and maybe it's not every single one of them. Hopefully, it's all of them.
Hopefully,
they're
we're 5 for 5, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal.
Maybe
the goal,
2 for 5.
Yeah,
however,
the goal is that you like everything.
There's 6 stories, Jay.
Right.
Even I was like, wait, there's 6.
What the fuck are you on?
6 for 6. I wasn't counting myself.
Get it? Yeah,
mine is the bonus story at the end. Like
no,
seriously, we needed more pages to fill, so
we just threw Jay's stuff in there. No.
We'll put it in the back.
No, that's not what happened. But no, but seriously, like it's they're all different, and I would love for you to like every single one. But I just know, just as a creator, people have their tastes, and I think we have all of our bases covered with this, and that someone's going. I think you're gonna like all of them. That's the goal, to have you like all of them. I'm really confident that you're gonna like each and every single one of them. And I'm stoked for you to read them. But I just realistically speaking, because of the amount of variation, there's a likelihood that there's going to be something for you. So this is why this is a great book. If you're like kind of on the fence, and this is going to be like your entry level or entryway into the Rippaverse, I think it's a perfect place to start. You have, like myself, you have the Saskas who have been here for a while. You have a bunch of new writers here. You have experienced writers like Jay, as well as Critical Drinker. They're all here. And you're gonna get to get some stories from characters new and old. So I think you're gonna get something out of it. I think you're gonna enjoy it, all of them. But if you don't, I wouldn't be mad if someone walked away from this and they said, "Oh, Chasing Ghosts, that was a story I really liked and I wanted more of it." Be like, all right, I'm game for that. Whether it's Zaska story, Mauler story, Critical Drinker story, Jay's story, whatever story it is, if you like it, that's all I care about. And you got something from it. You got some level of enjoyment out of this, and give us that feedback. We know you're going to do all your reviews. We will be highlighting all of those as we always do, but that stuff helps. We send out surveys, all of that. The team does. So we want to hear the feedback from the actual buyers, the direct feedback. Like, okay, we know you're a verified reader. What did you get from this story? And that really helps us determine what direction we take everything, not just in like, is this character going to appear again, but also in the type of story that's being told. And I don't think I'll talk about that enough, in that, like, for example, the Rippaverse, a prime example. You get a story like a Saoirse, which ended up getting its own ongoing series, but then you have like a Salvage, which got a graphic novel. So how we package it is also going to be determined by the feedback that we get from all of you as the audience. So thank you all for grabbing Saints and Sinners. By the way, it is almost at 12,000. We're creeping up there. We're at about 12,900. 11,970. Let me refresh these numbers real quick. 12,009. Yeah. Well, no, excuse me, 11,980. So 20 away from 12,000 total books sold. Wow. That's awesome. So let me talk. I want to talk some more about the stories here, just real quick. I guess I'll start with Jay, because you did kind of allude to it. in the event that the audience say in the event, I'm pretty confident that they're going to be like, we want more Cameron Cross. You already have a general idea where you're going to take the story, right?
100%.
Okay, so you already have
a trilogy kind of done, but it's
wow.
if we get a green light, then it's like, okay, how do we go forward? So there is something that's already put together. So
yeah, sounds good.
That'll be fun, good, man. It's gonna be exciting if that happens. But yeah, if we get the green light, then off to the races.
Okay,
I think that would be awesome.
So you're already ready to go. I like to hear that.
I'm ready to go, man.
Okay. I like to hear that.
5 for 5.
Draker, anything? Well, I know you got to bounce here in a little bit, but anything you want to leave the audience with? Like again, future stuff when it was Story of Kane or any of these other characters. Like you kind of got that conceptualized. If the audience is like, yeah, I want a little more on your way out, you want to leave the audience with anything?
I think there's always scope to do more, and the ending of this story is certainly open. Leaves the door open for doing more with this narrator character. I think he's a very mysterious individual. I think there's a lot more we could do with him, and it would be really interesting to match him up against other characters with unique abilities and how they might interact with each other. So yeah, I would not be against doing more with this. If people are mad enough to enjoy my story, then we'll see what happens.
For sure. Well, Drake, I know you're busy, man. You got a lot of stuff to do. I appreciate you stopping by for a little bit. Yeah, man, did a great story. I can't wait for everybody to read it.
Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure to be part of this. All the
Absolutely.
best.
Take care.
See you soon, bud.
See you, dude.
All right, brother. See you. What about you, Marla? I mean, I know the answer to that, but I love the audience. I think they want you to talk about it. How far along do you have this mapped out? If the audience says, I've read Saints and Sinners, I need more Bone God and I need it now.
If any of them have any familiarity with my work, they'll know that whenever I make a point about a sentence in a movie's story, that I'm going to be like, oh, I got to get all this background to make sure you understand my argument, and then the background for those backgrounds and the background for those backgrounds. Because, I'm more than happy for all stories to have their room for interpretation or for things to not be explicitly explained. It's one of those things that, like, a lot of critics have fights over just how much should be explained or shouldn't. And for me, on the writer's end, I always assumed with a lot of my favorite stories that my favorite authors, they've got everything in their head when they build the thing. It's the equivalent of an iceberg, right? They show us the tip, but there's a huge amount of foundation that they keep all in their head, and it provides us a coherent sort of story on top. So, no need to promise anything in particular. It's just that there's a reason for pretty much everything. At least I've tried to create one. And, a lot of it may come across as strange or confusing, or maybe you wouldn't even necessarily see how it could continue in any obvious way.
Yeah.
But, I wouldn't want to say anything necessarily in any particular direction other than if you're interested, if you love it, let the Rippaverse know. That's going to be the main thing. Because who knows? Maybe I've written a lot of different ideas and notes about how everything came to be. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who can say?
Who knows? As again, also know the answer to it, but again, it's the one thing to hear from me, but versus hearing from the audience. With Ingrid, even what you got some other stuff cooking. Should the audience be like, yeah, we want more of it? I said, I know the answer. I know the answer.
I know you know the answer. Yeah. Whereas Mauler said, maybe you don't know how things go, or there is a very specific direction that this story is going to go. And if you read The Saints and Sinners Chasing Ghosts, then you'll see it. And yes, there is a very definitive plan for where this goes next, and yes, it might be highly in development as we speak. So again, the Rippaverse does listen to its audience, and that's one of the great things about it. Is audience focused, it is audience driven. It does take feedback, it does listen to which characters you gravitate towards, etc. And not just with my story again, but with Maulers and Jays and Drinkers, and Soska's doing what they're doing with the wrestling, and Eric himself because you know he dabbles in writing,
just a little bit.
Has a dabble now and again in a little book or two of the Rippaverse. It's going to be, you guys are going to determine whether or not you want to see more of this, and I'm hope so, because I have the idea that I think we take Ingrid after the events of Chasing Ghosts. I think it's going to excite the audience a lot.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that, ladies. Well, what would you? I guess again, it's something I know the answer to, but I would love to kind of throw a curveball in there. In that, would you? Is it more of the SSWL that you're more intrigued by? And like, okay, we could tell more stories about that, or is it more like, hey, this specific character and more so entertaining? Sure, they're connected to it, right? Like a Larry Shun guy, but there's just so much more to the story, or could be more to the story with him as an individual character. With some of the stuff that you've thought about, what does that entertain more? Is it more the league itself and the SSWL, or is it more of like these individual characters? You got Tuna, you got all these other guys that you've shown. Larry Shun guy obviously being one of the main drivers, even Lincoln though, which you've handled a little bit in some of your Yaira stories. Like, what more are you, I guess, excited to write there?
Ooh, that's like hard picking your favorite kid and you have twins and you're like, I like both. But I'm excited about both. But when you do get Saints and Sinners, there is one line that I think you very perceptive people will pick up that's said at a certain point, and you'll be like, ooh, what does that character mean by that? And that is something Jen and I are very excited to expand on, because it's kind of something that's buried in the narrative that you're like, oh, does that mean something, something, something? And some of you that are already like, I don't know, it's like you guys have cameras in our places. You're like, oh, I already know what they're setting up. But it's those little beats that you lay the foundation for, and then you can grow later on. That's kind of fun, because I love the long-term storytelling.
That's a really good question, boss. I was gonna make a joke and say we're out of ideas, but that's a bold-faced lie.
You can't fool me.
Ideas. I really am interested in developing the roots, the little seeds that we planted for Larry. I don't want to say anything that's a spoiler, but there are relationships that are starting to form, both positive and negative for him. And he has obviously people that mean a lot to him. And he has people that inspired him to be a wrestler. I feel that's vague enough. And there's people that he doesn't want to let down. And I'm very interested to see how those relationships develop. And of course, there has been there is a female wrestler as well. And if you know anything about wrestling, the men's division and the women's division, I know this is a weird thing to say, that men and women should have opposite sports, but
what?
I know. Az, calm down. Az, calm down. I don't want to piss you off.
I will not be part of this anymore.
Working with the WWE and having friends at AEW and all around the wrestling world, they're very different. And the way that they have their little leagues within the same company, it changes a lot. And the competition is different. Like the way that the guy wrestlers trash talk each other backstage, the women are doing it in a totally different way. One of my favorite female wrestlers of all time is AJ Lee. And the pipe bombs, Mrs. CM Punk, the pipe bombs that she has dropped, particularly on the Bella Twins, who I also love, are legendary. Legendary, saying that you're not a wrestler, you're a reality TV star. I could wrestle circles around you. I just find that's really exciting, because the competition does not end in the ring. There is big time competition backstage, because especially with the ladies, they're struggling to get that airtime. It used to be the joke that they're the halftime show. So there's stuff that happens with the lady wrestler, and she alludes to what her path is like. But there's also like Larry, he's got roots, and he definitely rubs a few people the wrong way. And I'd like to see how those rivalries pan out. Hi, Diana, good girl. How those rivalries pan out both on stage and in the ring and outside of the ring as well.
Yeah, well, again, that's certainly interesting. And look, we're a big lore. I mean, that's part of your job, being lore masters, big lore based kind of company where we know that definitely the diehards, they care about this stuff. Like this is what they value. They want to know more about your world. It's not simply only about like this specific character, right? They want you to go through those details. And really this anthology is really allowing us to do that, to expand upon our world, while also I think it's a nice mix of both, right? You have some new elements that are being introduced, but you also have some things that are being entertained that they've already seen. Again, prime example like the SWL, where they know it exists, but the story really is allowing you to expand on that, on its existence, in addition to some of the characters that are a part of it. You can make the same argument with As a Story, right? With Ingrid, right? Where you know Ingrid, you've seen her in Alpha Core, you've seen her pretty much all. Like Alpha Core has, I believe, to date the most appearances like in any of all characters, because they're integral topics of the Flourish Park. So you're going to be seeing them a lot, especially with superhero activity and stuff going on. But what Az is doing, and it's a challenge in itself, and I love that he's taking that on, is that, well, she's a literal grounded character in comparison to the like Brian and Braxwell, right? So, but she has intrigue to her. Okay, how do we introduce that to the audience? So, well, we see what it looks like when she's doing her own thing, and that's what you really get to see expanded upon in Az's story. So again, you have a character that already exists, that already is there, but you're adding more depth to them, and that's what this anthology allows. And then again, you have brand new concepts and characters like with Mauler and Jay as well, which again is just further expanding on the world itself. So I cannot stress that enough. When I started this company, that was the idea. It was never about just ISOM. ISOM was the vehicle to launch the universe. Obviously, somebody had to do it. It had to be done. So it just happened to be ISOM. It was the first character that I came up with, and yeah, we launched the Rippaverse with it. But I was very open from the get-go that as more stories get told, or as the time goes by, everybody, it's going to be like this like you got threads going each and every way. And so there may be folks out there, and if you are an audience member, you're a follower of the Rippaverse, you kind of get this now where it's like, maybe you just want to keep up with this specific thing. You can do that. I think you should get all of the stuffs. You know, I would love for you to do it. I would love for you to grab every single book that we put out there. However, it is very doable if you're like, okay, I'm a big fan of Ingrid Valdez. Okay, so therefore, I want to know what's happening with her more than I do maybe ISOM. Great. Well, you have the Alpha Course book, but you also have this anthology series, or you have, you know, maybe stuff that happens in the future, which will allow you to do that without having to, buy an ISOM book or buy all the ISOM books, or salvage or Sisha or what have you. Though, in order to really appreciate the universe and how expansive that it really is, you're gonna want to get everything. That's what I would say. You know, so don't get me wrong. I'm not saying just get this singular book. You should get them all, but it's very doable for you guys to just want to keep up with a couple of characters. That was it. That you can do that. And I do want to give some more perspective, because I did see some people bringing this up and kind of like the decisions. And I don't think I've ever just really gone into detail with this publicly, other than just saying that it exists. We will run surveys for stuff that we test. We always do. We share those out. Shout out to Andrew Carroll, the team, who really helps gather all that information, then present it to me. I'm like, okay, this is what people are saying that have bought this book. They're verified readers. We know that they're verified readers. This is how they felt about it. It's not just the fact that you dislike or like something. it's also the details about that. And when you're reviewing, not even just when you're reviewing, like you're getting a survey, we're specifically asking you for details, how you felt about it. That determines how the future stories are packaged specifically. So, and then also, yes, a lot of it has to do with, okay, what is the character's purpose, let's say, and motivations are, especially in the context of the general universe. But we're very strategic here. There is a reason that Salvage, as an example, got a graphic novel, because as we're picking up this info from you, you're asking about the villain, for example, that's introduced, and it was while it was a lot of mention of, okay, the genre type, right? People love that it had this noir feel. You had this private investigative story, and they really, really, really did like that. But there was a lot of talk about, like, okay, Salvage is investigating this specific story. This guy shows up at the end of the 15 pages that we did in the Rippaverse. And there was a lot, most of the entry was simply around that storyline. So that's why a graphic novel made sense, okay, for me, and for us to do. Whereas with Saoirse, it was the character, right? It was a lot more about, well, I like that there's this badass idea. She's not quite a spy, right? But she's using her beauty and what have you to try to gather more information. And it was less about the storyline itself that was happening with there, right? And more about the character that you were intrigued by. So to me, it made more sense to do that, right? To do an ongoing series. It's the same thing that's going to happen here. So Norfolka, gets a limited series. Like, we have various ways that we can do this, right? Whether it be like a limited series, like a Norfolka, or what is the other one? Great War Separation, right? Well, those aren't ongoing. It's a series, but it's not ongoing. So it's going to be very vital for you all to give us this information, be as detailed and thorough with what you like and dislike about these stories as you get these books. And by the way, breaking news here. I'm going to update. This isn't updated. Let me update it first, and then I will show this off, because we have hit yet another milestone here with Saints and Sinners, in that it has hit.
It's that cover D, baby.
12,000.
Hey, congratulations, everybody.
Total books sold.
T-minus 504.
504 to go.
That's it.
Have, and what they're mentioning there is this has a chance to be the top selling book of the year so far.
T-minus 988 for the stick drawings.
So you have a little over 500
stick drawings. I need
a little over 500 to have the top selling book of the year. And if it hits 13,000, as has gone on record saying.
That's right.
I will release the storybook.
After it ships, the stick figure panels will be released to the public. They're on my desk right now. I just gotta
them approved.
I just gotta look at them.
Just give it to Pam Bundy. She'll look after them.
We'll never get them. Pam Bundy, we won't give it to her. We'll never get them if she gets a hold of these. But they're on my desk right now. I just gotta go and look at them. But seriously, 13,000.
Kanan White's going to come out the front with a bloody binder.
Yeah, with a
he's going to be pointing at the binder.
The binder with nothing in it.
It's in here. It's in here. We got him.
The binder with absolutely nothing in it. But seriously, the stick figure sketch will be released at 13,000. Well, if we hit that milestone after it ships, of course, we will be showing off the stick figure as is glorious stick figure drawings that assisted with the creation of Chasing Ghosts. But seriously, guys, this is amazing. Also, less than 30,000 away from hitting $500,000.
Wow!
In total sales, that would be massive.
Thank you, everyone, so much.
Yeah, big shout out to all y'all. Again, this big time collaborative effort. That's what makes it so fun. In that we got all these awesome people who I've gotten to know over the years. And as you heard me say this a lot during the first stream, and that I feel like this is a natural evolution of pretty much, a lot of guys in our space. Not to say that every single individual is creative, or at least to be able to write, but I do believe that there are a lot of creative people, whether they know it or not, out there that have a lot of God-given ability and God-given talent. And I know a lot of us have been, we've been griping, we've been commentators, and we've done this for a while, and that's all well and dandy. But what I love about this project is that we were able to grab like Mauler as well as to have them do some original works. And this is original work that I'm confident in. I'm not saying that just because we are producing it. I'm saying this because I believe in it, and the stories are really, really, really good. And we have a unique perspective here in that we have people co-signing this that have been around, for a while, like Will Conrad, who loved the story. So you have this newbie in Mauler, but you have Will Conrad, who's been around forever, and he absolutely believes in the story. And with that, and in Az's case, again, veterans also working on it, but also, look. You think I would just have him just run Ingrid into the ground? No, I wouldn't have him do it. I believe in the project, and I know you guys are going to love these stories, and I'm just so excited for you to read it. But thank you for 12,000 total.
That's amazing.
12,000 total.
Thank you, Mauler.
Books. What? It's all thanks to Mauler. No, seriously. Just to have a little bit of fun here. Since we've been talking about creative stuff, let's take out Saints and Sinners just for a second. Is there
no? How about no?
Yeah.
So agreeable, Az. So agreeable.
How about we bring it all back in again?
Seriously, there are, and I guess I'll start with Jay, because Jay has this major contrast where he's done Achromatic Chronicle series, which is a all ages book, right? And it's great, all ages series, great. Well, now we're moving into something that's different, like completely, right? Yeah. And it's still good. So I like to talk creatively if there are, do you have aspirations? I know you look, I hope everybody here continues to write a million stories after Saints and Sinners. But are there other genres, or is there a genre of story that you would like to tell? Or has that itch more so been scratched with the creation of a Cameron Cross, as an example? I'm trying to see if there's other ideas floating around in that head of yours.
There's a big one that's on the way that I think everyone's gonna love. I mean, people love it so much. You guys saw they tattooed them on. They tattooed. Yeah. I've got like 20 some people that have tattooed this symbol on their body, and I'm like, oh my god, I hope the book doesn't suck, because that's gonna be awful for them to do that. I don't know. Being a history major in college, and loving comic books as well, it's like I love telling the old history stories as well. Like there's a lot of things that you could take from history and pull it into modern day storytelling. That I always find it fascinating when movies come out about certain people in Rome and stuff like that, and they just completely change everything. It's only by name that you know them. And it's I'm like, man, the original story from the history books is much more fun than what they put on the big screen or in the books that they write. So there's a lot of things out there that I think could be very, very done very well, very fascinating, and people could just have a good time just with history. I love pirate history, Roman history, things like that. So and a lot of like religious history stories I think are, for me, I find them fascinating and I love them. So that stuff never ends for me. So I that's why I love Cameron Cross, because I could put a lot of that into his story moving forward if he moves forward. and the different characters that we have. So the Vindicta story is going to be great. That's going to be on Rippaverse, but that's going to be crazy. So, but yeah.
Well, let me. I guess I'll piggyback on that as far as my individual aspirations as well, and the other types of stories. I really did want to dive into a lot of the legal kind of stories, the investigative stories. I had the opportunity, obviously, of doing that. Really, which I did not know how that was going to land for sure, because I knew it was miles different from ISOM. But Salvage was it was that was something that I was kicking around. I was like, man, these are the type of stories I grew up on, or at least it was influenced by, and I wanted to tell this type of story. One of that, we'll be entertaining these, and I have some other stories that I'm kicking around in which I'm gonna be allowed to kind of entertain. That's funny you mentioned history stuff, but with ISOM and the biblical, Bloodruth has it as well, right? With the biblical connection. And it's funny, man, how when you're looking for inspiration for a story that you want to tell, you just be surprised just how much of it is just how much inspiration you can draw from that good book, in the Bible, right? And there's so much stuff that I would love to, the stories that, if you read ISOM 3, spoiler talk, we'll be doing that soon. There's specifically dialogue that really dives deep into that. It dives really, really deep into that element of it. So go grab that if you have not already. We'll be doing spoiler talk very soon, because I believe all the ISOM 3 orders have gone out now. But it's there's so much cool stuff that happens in that book that often is never, you don't think of it like that. Obviously the main point of it and Jesus and the sacrifice and everything totally it summarizes everything. But when you're just reading from the Old to the New Testament and reading everything in it, there's just so many stories of wonder, of mystery, of some of the fantasy,
betrayal, murder,
all of it's
family,
there.
like removing of kings.
It's all
how
there.
People deal with famines, earthquakes, and in the middle of all that, there's mystery and murder, and people doing it in the name of God, and people false prophets, things like that, and how it all comes out. So it's just there's so much of these little stories, especially in the Old Testament, that people don't even realize that are there, that could be put together in other stories as well. It's pretty awesome.
And you got some of that obviously with you got it with ISOM, you got some of that with Bloodruth even. Obviously I love the take of the Mark Kane and everything that you guys entertain there. But obviously we're all here with Sauce, because I know Jay as well, with a lot of Christian ties and whatever. It's fun to kind of weave that into and make that see how that plays out and how people approach that in our universe. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with that. So yeah, those are the types of stories that I hope to tell more of, for sure. And obviously I want to do some more detective noir stuff as well, which I am doing with Salvage. I got a lot of fun stuff happening. Mauler, what about you? I know again, first time getting things going, and with Bone God, again, it has a sort of action kind of more, it is really adventurous story. But has there been other types of, be it genres or what have you, that you've had kicking around in your head, especially after writing this, that you think would it will be okay, a cool story to tell? Maybe it's connected to Bone God, maybe it's not.
I think over the years, I went from being solely interested into breaking stories down into gradually more and more getting the bug of it'd be fun to write some of these though. And I think the more time goes on, the more I'm there's not really a story I wouldn't mind trying. I'm trying to think of the most obscure, weird, if it was a period piece romantic comedy, I'd probably be that's not really my, but at the same time, it would be a challenge I wouldn't mind maybe giving a shot, because I think broadly speaking, a lot of writers when they're starting out, I assume, sort of hit what they either feel familiar with or that they feel maybe other people haven't done the way that they want to. And that's definitely where I'm sort of wanting to start and maybe carve out broadly. Because, you mentioned genres, and it's as much as mine would absolutely qualify on particular genres. I'm really more so thinking about the characters and where they go, and then what challenges they come across, and then the genre sort of grows from that. It becomes what it is as a result of what meaning I want for the journeys involved and what these characters would choose to do. But something I really enjoy, the I think other mediums can have trouble with sometimes, is the absolute freedom of anything can happen. You really don't know. The stakes are that high. The sort of world itself is free to move wherever it needs to. It's the kind of thing I feel like when I'm watching at least a good R-rated film, where it's not about the fact that I want to see loads of violence or drug use or whatever have you. It's more so just I know that they can do anything they want. Anything could happen. So hopefully it's worthwhile. And so genre-wise, like I particularly love horror and sci-fi, but then the next time is like fantasy is still really high up there, as well as action, as well as a lot of sort of genres everyone's familiar with. So it's and Lovecraft. But just
of course.
So yeah, excited to tell all kinds of stories. Honestly.
Okay, I like that. And like again, you get a lot of your chops as far as what you have a knack for in Bone Guide, but the cool thing about seeing everybody's scripts is that that even if it's like minor, maybe it's a couple of panels that are discussed or even more so shown, and that in your story you could see that, wow, well that is a thread there that could go in a multitude of different directions there, and it would be interesting to see your take on that thing, whether it be an item, whether it be a genre or whatever. Let's move to you, as you really going for a more like a traditional like superhero heroine approach with your story, which it just works, and I love it for Ingrid. But again, you're a fan of a lot of different stuff, especially with being a gamer. You kind of understand that. What are there some other stuff like outside of maybe what you're already entertaining that you think you like? Oh, I could give a shot at that.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, just to do the Saints and Sinners story, Chasing Ghosts, was bucket list stuff. I've mentioned this before, but it's true. Yeah, let's just say, and I know you guys are gonna love it, but let's just say, the audience go, no thanks. Thanks as no thanks. Look, it's been bucket list stuff for me. And yeah, I wanted to create a story with an established character from the Rippaverse that was true to that character. We've seen elements of that character, and now it was time to see a little bit more about her and sort of her mentality and how she thinks and her thought process and whatnot. So, I wanted the story to really kind of fit in with what's been created so far and give hopefully the audience some excitement. That said, when we've had this go, I mean, I think I can say this because you bloody well said it in this stream. But we've been approached already. Where would you see this going if this was to continue? Where do you see this going? Send me your stuff. And one thing that I like, particularly about these excerpts, is you're only going to be limited by your imagination, of course. And whereas we can put Ingrid into this story, which goes places for sure. I can't say how and why. But the idea of taking something that you might just think is a classic, nice sort of like classic fits-in story, but it really kind of opens the door and drags the character out of their comfort zone. And then you say, okay, so, we've seen Accepts be powerful. We've seen them be strong. We've seen them take charge. What happens if you just get yanked out of that? What happens if you get yanked into a world where you feel like you don't have control? And with all that power that you possess, how can you feel powerless almost? And where do you rise up from that? And so when I got the first communication about where do you see this going? Would you like to continue? If you were to continue, where do you see this going? And for the first time, you kind of really think about where this does go. And my story goes in a very specific direction that I'm hoping by the end of it, people are going to be like, please, sir, can we have some more? It really allowed me to kind of process that. And let's just say the genre of the first book bends and twists just like the character that will be bending and twisting it. And that has allowed me to bounce some ideas off the Oscars. And let's just say it's really going out there. And so to kind of move from one genre to flick into another genre is an exciting process while still being true to the character, developing that character, giving them more life and whatnot. And just as an aside as well, to bring tech to Ingrid, to me was a no-brainer, and it was just such an awesome thing to do. The apex, which you see on the cover A, you've seen the image. The I can't say where that image appears in the book. Does it appear? Does it appear at all? Of your imagination? Yeah. But you see Ingrid on the apex, and Marcos. I got to give Marcos such credit. Because when Marcus is bringing your characters and your designs to life, he was wonderful. And with the apex, Marcus and I were absolutely in sync with how we saw it going and why certain design decisions were made and whatnot, which I can't spoil, but maybe the concept book, if you purchase it, does. And so to bring tech as well to Ingrid's life made perfect sense with her being a grounded character. And then of course you get the you got to say to yourself, well, what's the opposite of tech? You know, and how do you when you've got somebody that's now sort of tech orientated, how do you take that tech and you know, twist it and play with it? So yeah, it's such a wonderful position to be in, to allow your imagination to go to places that you never thought it could go. And if you guys do like this Ingrid story, believe you me, you would be in for an absolute treat with the follow-up, because it's gonna be insane.
Let's go. Well, man, what a sell. I appreciate that. Yeah, you're gonna love this story. I promise you're gonna love this story. Let me get to some of these super chats. By the way, if you're just not rolling in, we are over 12,000 total books sold, and you know, this book has a chance to be the top selling book of the year for us. We're at 12,045 and $471,000 in total sales. So go grab Saints and Sinners right now. I need to get caught up on these super chats because there's a bunch of them that have come in. I think I got this one. I think this might have been the last one I had with Johnny Red saying everyone on screen is insanely awesome.
Oh,
appreciate
thank you.
that. Thank you. Zylander with SDK 50 say, hi, y'all. I'm hyped to read all the stories. Everyone is looking great today, but Saska's looking the best. When can I expect delivery here in Sweden? Well, we are sending it to print like now that the pre-order window is over. So, you know, it'll take 2-3 weeks, generally speaking, once everything is approved with our printers, making sure, you know, there's no hiccups. It is printing, things can happen, but as soon as we get them, because there's no CGCs, we're sending them out. So it's not going to take us long at all to send this out. So just expect them soon enough, and keep it locked on your email, because we do send you all of the updates as far as when shipping and fulfillment is going to start. Master Swag King with a 2 says American Mary Omnibus soon, or when.
Ooh, if only we knew somebody who printed stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Publication and that little film called American Mary, if it ever had a big fan base, maybe we would do something. But
maybe.
Perhaps.
Who knows, man? Who knows? But noted.
Good idea.
Oh yeah. Yeah, appreciate that. All right, so we have Marcus with a 5 says, "Do you plan on doing a Rippaverse long box? My short box is full." Maybe. I'm not against doing a long box at all. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it at all. Magnum North asked with a 5 Mauler, "Can I do a 9-hour EFAB about your story?"
Absolutely. That's the weirdest thing about all this is I ain't gonna be touching reviewing my own work, and I'm not gonna do that for friends or anything. But I fully encourage everyone to go nuts if you want to talk about what I've written. It's time, I guess, to turn it around somewhat.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right, we have
turnabout is fair play and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
We have Wasp with a 50. Wow, says, "Congrats to you all. We need quality entertainment and count our blessings to know that you deliver what the big industry no longer can't." Well, look, we have quite the advantage. Those of us that are direct to customer, we have an advantage. Is it a little more difficult? Yes, because it's not like baked in buys, like what happens when you're just selling it to a store who then sells it to the customer. We're selling it directly to you, so the feedback is coming directly from you, and it's accurate, right? Obviously, whether you like or dislike something. So that's our advantage here, and we get to tell stories here because we're so community oriented. Based upon, yes, we have our own ideas as far as where to start, but where to go with that, we can inject what we're picking up from you all that are fans of the universe, or fans of the characters, or fans of what we do. So that's an advantage. This one being one of the blessings of being a company that operates on the direct to customer model, in that we get accurate information directly from you all. So this is thanks to you, obviously, because we're looking to serve you. This isn't some self-fulfilling thing. And this is one thing I knew early on, just being around music and being in entertainment for as long as I've been around, is that, it's a service. I know we often don't like to think of it that way. There's a lot of ego involved in when you create something where, sometimes folks think they're God's gift to someone else. Like, you are the one that is blessed to like their or get to consume whatever media that they're producing. I don't see it that way. I look at it like it's a service. So ultimately, I could make all the stories that I wanted. If there was no audience for it, it doesn't mean jack diddly. So it's all about you all, and that's an advantage that with our model that we have, that we can listen to you and determine what we need to do from the website and the customer experience, buyer experience, to the actual stories, top to bottom. We get that feedback directly from you, and it's important. So that's why we're in the position that we're in. So we appreciate everybody that's always our customers always letting us know what they want. Like falling outside the normal moral constraints with a 2 says, "We need Zaylen Volume 2 soon, please."
Heck yeah.
Okay. I can see that. All right. We have Film Cell Beardo, Jesus, with a 5 says, "Come on, guys, let's get Saints and Sinners to 500K. Says, I want to see that new book mentioned in the milestone." Well, go grab Saints and Sinners. I mean, it's less than 30,000. It's very doable to hit $500,000. You know what I'm saying? So let's do that. But go buy a book for your book. Why not? Thank you. Film Sale Beardo. Appreciate that. Mr. Reese with a 5 on the Curse and the Black Eye covers on on Pam Bondi's desk as well. Yes, she's looking at them right now.
Where are they?
No, we do need
the covers are a Democratic hoax.
They went to a Coldplay concert.
Oh man, that's good. No, we are gonna get those out soon. It's on my checklist actually. I guess, like I said, it's on my desk. I just got to review the documents. No, but all the covers, I think all the covers for both books are like done. So I think even colored. So yeah. The Crazy Cat with a 2 says, "Flagging all your channels." Well, thanks. Appreciate that, the Crazy Cat. We got Volunteers Hero with a 2 says, "Hey, Rippaverse, Ice on 3 spoiler stream win." maybe Monday. That's what we typically do our round table. I know now that all of them have gone out, so we're in a position to do that now. So yeah, ISOM 3 spoiler stream soon, and I'm really antsy to talk about some of the goodies, especially now that you have even more context with some stuff that happens in Great War 2 as well, because that also shipped. So thank you all. ISOM 3. Maybe Monday, around our usual time that we do the round table, we'll do the spoiler talk stream. It depends on who I can get on and come chat about it at that time.
Ben and I will be there.
Awesome. So we got 2 confirmations already. Let's see who else we can get. And I just realized that Takara was your profile picture. So shout out. It's Kanan's art of Takara. So yeah. Norfolk, Glorious Death. You can go grab that right now.
Ooh. And get the song while you're at it. The best 99 cents you're gonna spend, man. That song hits you in the soul.
Let's go. Dougman with another 10 says Poker Night is canceled. Mauler, that cousin of yours, Cthulhu, invited Trigon. Says the guy is a cheater and has some serious anger issues. It's bad enough Morningstar shows up buck ass nude all the time.
Yeah, man. It's just so awkward too, because if Trigon turns up, Nyarlathotep's not going to come up. Those guys have a big old history, so it's just frustrating, man. You have to balance it all. We tried, but canceled it is.
Canceled it is. Appreciate that, 10. We also have Jason with a 50. No message either. Wow. Jason Doolittle, shout out to you. Drops $50 and doesn't say Jack Diddley squat. Wow. Thank you for that, Jason Doolittle. That's not cheap. It's a lot of money, by the way. Wow. Soul Mirror with a 5 never read a comment before and don't know any of these people, but ordered a book pack supporting the name of Drunk 3PO. Well, there we go. We'll take that any day.
Oh, Mirror, I love you.
And after you've read it, you still won't know who we are. It's okay.
Appreciate that, Soul Mirror.
A female, by the way. Just wanted to clear that up.
Thank you, Soul Mirror. Well, I appreciate you, Soul Mirror, for getting that book back. Thank you. Much love to you. I know you're going to enjoy it, and let us know what your thoughts are. Joe with a 2 month says, as said, if we beat Horseman #1 in book sold, Ripper will commit to a 10-minute Superman review. First of all, I don't know if I've ever done a review on a comic book, anything that short. Not a movie for sure. I've never done that. Everybody's been trying to get me to commit to doing believe it or not, that's crazy how long it's been. It's been 5 years or so since I last did a review. The last review that I did, it was either was that 2021 or 2020 when the Snyderverse
21.
21. Okay, that was the last review that I did. Period.
Wow.
And so it's been a while, and like I said, it's a cost benefit analysis these days because my time is just, I don't have much of it these days. So it's like, should I be reviewing things? Probably not. But yeah, it's been funny watching everybody try to commit me to doing a review of Superman. Avery Parker with a 7 month says, heaven needed a few sinners because you can't raise hell without a saint. I must say my intrigue for this book nears my anticipation for Bloodroot #2, which is underway, being produced right now, by the way. Bloodroot #2.
Good. First one was amazing.
Yes.
Michael Montanay is just killing it on
He is. He's really good. He is insanely good, man. So yes, appreciate you getting Saints and Sinners. Remember, closes tonight at 11 p.m. Central. So I know Az is going to be streaming later tonight as well.
Yeah. I got a long day today.
Yeah, so he's streaming
Friday Night Tights, and then after Friday Night Tights,
everybody that's streaming tonight. I got some Blade stuff that I'll be doing. I'll come back and I'll be on the promo tour myself. Heist Man with a 1 month says, go Rippaverse. Ice on Braxwell, Ingrid. It's all the emotes there. I need to get some more emotes. Got to get some updates to some of those on the Rippaverse side. So thank you so much. Black Widow was the review you did. Yeah, but didn't Black Widow come out before?
Black Widow was 2019.
Yeah, so that was the last like Marvel one I did for sure. Wow. But yeah, I did Snyder, and that was like going through the history and everything. go watch that. I'm pretty proud of how that came out because again, yeah, it was like 45 minutes long, but I was going through the history and everything. Yellow Flash is in the chat, by the way. Next week we'll be doing the same thing and closing down his stuff. He's also about to sign some books for you all for CGC. So big shout out. We just had the Saskas here. So
Mighty Golden Patriot is so good. I don't want to spoil it because the spoiler is what makes it so special, but you have no idea how cool this book is. And get the short story too. Get the short story too.
The shiny cover is so pretty. I don't know if we're sold out of that yet, but get it definitely, guys.
Oh yeah. You guys were there, so you would have saw everything.
Wow,
we got there. Yeah,
we were all over the place.
I would have saw it. It came out. Both of those came out incredible. So yeah. Okay, we someone asked about Neurotic doing a stream. Neurotic's been he streamed 6 times. He's streaming like 6 times this week, so he's been talking. He hadn't stopped streaming. But yes, you can go get that book as well over at Rippaverse. So when you go get Yellow Flash's book, you can also get Neurotic book or vice versa. It's all at Rippaverse. All right, Razorhead. We have 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for that, Razorhead. My man, Professor X says, ISOM 3 spoiler talking about B-Day. By all means, I will accept this gift. Also, that ISOM 3 cover A wallpaper is really good. Def want more book covers as wallpapers. Okay.
Happy almost birthday.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Professor. Yeah, I'm going to go into it like Leo. We're going to do it on Monday. I got to see how many or who all is going to be a part of it. So, yeah, we'll see. Thank you, Professor X. Thank you. We have Razorhead with a 20. No message. Proper money there. Thank you so much. And we have Thundarius. Oh, my man, Thundarius does some great videos. Talking about Rippaverse says, I agree with Jay.
Thank you.
Hey, ladies, hashtag release the Ripper hat. Maybe.
The hat.
Yeah. I haven't worn it in a minute. I'm going to have to start wearing
where's
that
the
again.
lid?
Yeah, so it's my wife, like, she's cleaning up and shit. She moved all my hats over there so I can go grab them. So shout out to her. But yeah, I now know where the hats. I have a million hats, so I don't try to coordinate what hats I wear. By the way, it's literally I am walking upstairs. What is the nearest hat to me, and I just grab it and put it on. That's just kind of how it works. So yeah. Thank you, Thundarius, for that. Okay, and bam, that's the last one. All right, I'm going to go round table, let everybody, before we end up bouncing, I want everybody to give a chance to talk about Saints and Sinners, to give their final thoughts on it as we close everything down. Me starting first. Guys, you're going to want to go grab this book. I'm stoked on it. I love the characters, both old and new, that are part of this. If you are, you love connected universes, this is a perfect book to get in on the Rippaverse. You get all sorts of different perspectives, all different types of stories. Again, there's characters both old and new that you can fall in love with. So go grab that. Awesome theme. Again, it's not just the same story being told in a different setting. They're all very, very different. You get to see some of these lovely writers here, some newbies like Marlon and Az, but we also got some people that have been around the block like the Saskas J, as well as as well as Critical Drinker. So be sure to go grab Saints and Sinners. I would appreciate it big time if you wouldn't grab the Saints and Sinners, because it has a chance to be the top selling book of the year and hitting or actually passing up The Horseman. But my story, Weight of Restraint. First time I got to work with Elias Martins. I had a lot of fun on telling this story, different story that I've told up until this point. You're going to learn a lot about Jackson Cainhart. You're going to learn a lot about the legal system in Flores Park. And it has a nice little twist and turn, especially going towards the end. Maybe you see some familiar characters, maybe you do not. But Jackson Cainhart is the character that is really centered around. Sisters, what about you all? Of course, we have the underdog, South, SSWL. We have Larry Shungite. We have some other awesome characters that are part of it. Big Tuna makes an appearance, all that good stuff. What do you want to leave the audience with?
You can go first, so because I spoke a lot.
All right. You know what? Saints and Sinners is like a mixtape. Remember, if you're old like me, you remember a mixtape.
Old like me.
It takes a bunch of really cool little pieces from different universes, which may be your first introduction to a band or your new favorite song or a style of music you didn't even know you loved. And this is the first appearance of a bunch of characters. So like it's getting 6 number ones all in one. And I have a feeling, I don't know, that this isn't going to be the first time you're going to see these artists working together. It's not going to be the first time you see these characters. So you're going to want to have the very first experience with these. And then you can go on your like Tolkien like fellowship and get all of us to sign it. And it'll be one of those special things that you're like, oh man, I was there back when.
Yeah, I'm so honored that we got to do an anthology. And like everyone said, like the boss said, we work for you guys, the fans. So you guys, depending on your reactions and what you like, you are shaping the future of the Rippaverse. If there is a character, I mean, I have my own plans for what I'd like to do, but if you read it and you're like, oh my God, I like this character that's way over here, I will pivot. I will happily pivot. And I'm always excited to hear the feedback. And if you like this anthology, this could guarantee more anthologies in the future, because there's other creatives in our space and there's other creatives that you might not even think that we could get. But Silva and I have some connections to some pretty interesting people who are very interested in coming over to the Rippaverse. When we first started, people are like, you're writing comic books? I don't know how that's going to work out. And then now everyone's messaging us and being like, I got a comic book idea. How do you submit your ideas? And I'm like, okay, hang on. We'll see where we can get you fit in. And whether you like wrestling, whether you like horror, whether you like deeply emotional stuff, because there's some heavy hitting stories here. I mean, there is a moment in every one of those stories that you're going to go, oh shit. So please pick up Saints and Sinners. Buy your book a book, because you know your book is going to want a book as well. And thank you for the opportunity to keep doing what we do, because you guys, almost $500,000 in sales. I just thought a few people would like it. I was like, this will be a nice place for people to jump into the Rippaverse. But your reaction, very humbling. So thank you so much, guys. You are the reason that we do what we do. Yeah. And I cannot wait to sign your book. So come treasure hunt us.
Let's do it. Sil, you good? Everybody else good? No? You all right? Y'all too? Y'all anything else? Y'all good?
You're good.
Yeah, we are good.
Okay.
Oh, except By the Cursed. By the Cursed.
No,
and by
no,
lots.
guys,
the rivalry has been popped off.
Hashtag Civil War.
Hashtag Civil War.
Rippaverse Civil War. By the Cursed, okay? And you're gonna love it. I can't spoil The Cursed, except that it's probably the greatest book you'll ever read in your life, and you might just like die of happiness after you finish it.
Right after.
But there might be more Cursed coming, so don't die right away. Just die lightly.
Don't die.
Yeah, let's not have that.
Don't die.
Please don't. Okay. Jay.
I mean, yeah, there's really not much else to be said. Just I appreciate all the support. I can't believe it where we are on this whole thing. It's been an amazing adventure for me, and I really hope like this transcends into something that people will love and want to see more of. I think all the stories will. I have no idea what the other stories are, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be amazing, and I can't wait for myself. I'm just as big of a fan as the next person, wanting to see what everybody else has put out there. So it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So we'll go from there. And yeah, don't die. Nobody die. So
please don't do it.
Let's
don't
just
die.
keep going.
Forever.
And thank you so much for letting me be a small part in this. It's a wonderful kid's dream come true. So I can't believe I had this opportunity again. Thank you.
Okay. What about you, Mahler? Anything you want to leave the audience with?
Yeah, I mean, broadly speaking, as has been said, it's a bit of a dream come true to be able to make something like this. And as much as there's a lot of the aspect of the creative expression, which is wonderful in and of itself, is very much exciting just to hopefully entertain, inspire, maybe tell a few jokes, have a few action-packed scenes, and some payoffs that a lot of people maybe could feel is the kind of thing that maybe will stick in their memory, and any chance that is obviously really, really appreciated. So both to the Rippaverse and the humble audience really appreciate everything you guys have done for supporting this even before you have read it. So, I hope we can come through for what is anticipated here. And yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. And what about you, man? Anything you want to leave the audience with?
I mean, yeah, again, bucket list stuff. So big thank you to the Rippaverse. Big thank you to you, Eric Soskers, for putting this together. And everybody that I work with on the campaign. They've just been absolutely epic. And, I think the Soskers summed it up perfectly. Buy your book a book. Because fingers crossed, you're just going to want to read and go through this again and again. The one is just going to get worn out, and you need to have that other one to take to places to get it, maybe get some ciggies on it, not cigarettes, signatures, of course. But yeah, I mean the ultimate, just the ultimate goal, dream would be for you guys to read it, love these stories, whoever story it may be, Jay's, Morley's, Soskers, Eric's, myself, Drinkers, whoever, and make your voice heard. If you like what you read, if you like these stories, make your voice heard, because everyone is set to go forward with something. And just on a personal level, I mean, I can probably guarantee from the others, but just on a personal level, I'd be so excited for you guys to see where Chasing Ghosts is going to go, because it is a journey. It is a hell of a journey. So big thank you to everyone who's been supporting the campaign. It's not over yet. And after Friday Night Tights, I'll be doing a little closeout stream as well. Who knows if anyone pops on? Maybe a couple of people pop on.
Sure.
But I'll be doing a closeout stream through to 5 a.m. UK time. That's when it finishes there, which is 11 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern. For your time zones, if you're out there. But yeah, if you're on the fence, believe you me, go grab it, because this is ground zero with Saints and Sinners, and I think this isn't going to be the last time we see a Saints and Sinners book. I think Saints and Sinners 2 will happen, and there'll be a whole new group of people to do stuff, and it's exciting where an idea like this can go, and it's so great that Eric's green lighting these awesome ideas. It's not just Saints and Sinners and the books that you're expecting, the single, the Norfolk single, the LP, the EP, the cassette, which is now unlocked. All of this, there's the statues which have come out. There's such excitement around the Rippaverse, and be a part of it. That's what I say. Be a part of it.
Please. Well, guys, I really want you to get this book. I want it to be the top selling book of the year. I'd love that. I'd love for it to hit $500,000 as well. That'd be awesome. And most importantly, I want you to grab something that we believe that you're going to enjoy thoroughly. So Rippaverse.com, you can go grab right now this. That's on the Rippaverse Omnibus, but which you can go grab that as well. But Saints and Sinners is what closes at 11 p.m. Central tonight. All covers, the hardcover as well as the concept art, you can grab the shirts, everything, cards, deck of cards, all that good stuff you can go grab. So thank you all so much for the love and support. We appreciate you. This has been a wonderful day. And yeah, we're really just getting started, because everybody's going to be doing the streams like and really promoting this. And we're going to send this over the finish line. We have Professor X with a 2 says, congrats and see y'all at Bell County Comic-Con. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And that is, I already got that one. That's it. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. Bell County, can't wait to be at Bell County. We have some announcements around that as well, but we got to go. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time. Please go grab Saints and Sinners. Until next time, y'all be easy and peace out. Thank you.
Bye.